Welcome to the world of documentaries, your channel for knowing that is largely unknown. Pakistan is not a poor country, it is a deeply unequal one. While millions struggle to survive on less than $1 a day, a tiny elite controls a disproportionate share of land, wealth, and opportunities. This is not an accident. It is the outcome of how the economic system is designed. And today, we are going to show you exactly how the 1% captured Pakistan's wealth with authenticated data that cannot be refuted. Let's start with numbers. According to the World Inequality Database, the top 10% of Pakistanis hold 59% of total wealth. But it gets worse. The richest 1% alone control 24% of Pakistan's total wealth. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% of the population, over 125 million people, hold only 19% of total wealth. This is not gradual inequality. This is extreme concentration. According to Pakistan Institute of Development and Economics, just 2% of untaxed elites own 95% of Pakistan's national resources. Think about that. 2% of the population owns 95% of everything. This is not capitalism. This is extraction. The first mechanism of elite capture is the tax system. Pakistan relies heavily on indirect taxes. 55% of all tax revenue comes from indirect taxes like value-added tax, excise duties, and custom charges. Here is the problem. When you buy bread, fuel, or electricity, you pay the same tax whether you are rich or poor. The poor spend 80% of their income on essential goods. The rich spend only 20%. So indirect taxes hit the poor much harder. According to the World Bank, indirect taxes contribute most to the national poverty. As a result, poverty has increased 43%, while indirect taxes and inflation has risen to 17.4%, which is affecting the poor population. Meanwhile, the wealthy escape taxation. Large land holdings remain undertaxed. Speculative real estate escapes meaningful contribution. The real estate sector is a major investment avenue in Pakistan, but it is undocumented. Tax evasion by the elites is the real elephant in the room. The wealthy park assets in tax havens using shell companies. They use informal transactions to hide wealth. The richest 20% of Pakistanis receive 34% of government subsidies, which are meant for the poor. They receive 29% of educational benefits and 27% of social benefits. For Pakistan to function as a country, it must ensure that its high earners pay taxes and only the poor get the subsidies. Pakistan elite capture costs 6% of its GDP annually. That's roughly $22 billion per year lost to corruption and elite extraction. Elite capture alone consumes $17.4 billion of Pakistan's economy annually. This is not small-scale corruption. This is systematic extraction at the national level. The second mechanism of elite capture is land. Pakistan inherited a feudal system. At independence, large land-holding families controlled vast agricultural lands. Here is what happened next. Nothing. 5% of agriculture households own nearly two-thirds, 64% of Pakistan's agriculture land. 80% of farmers own only 28% of agricultural land, and 65% of small farmers hold only 15% of total farmland. This is not just inequality, this is feudalism. Pakistan attempted land reforms multiple times. In 1960s, Ayub Khan tried. In 1972, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto announced major land reforms to eradicate feudalism. All of them failed. These land reforms failed because feudal elites controlled the government. According to research, at least 75% of Pakistan's national and provincial assemblies are ruled by feudal landowners. The World Bank documented this in 2008. Land reforms in Pakistan failed due to political resistance from feudal elites who dominated the government. The feudal elites used their political power to block meaningful reforms. They controlled water supply, seeds, and fertilizers, keeping farmers dependent. They used judicial corruption to prevent fair land dispute resolution. The land inequality remains severe and growing. In 22% of districts of Pakistan, it has increased. The third mechanism of elite capture is government spending. Pakistan's federal budget for 2025-26 is 17.573 trillion Pakistani rupees, about $62 billion. Where it goes? 46.7% of Pakistan's budget goes to debt servicing. That's 8.2 trillion rupees, $29 billion US dollars, just paying interest on previous debts. Defense spending takes 21% of the budget. That leaves only about 32% for everything else: health, education, social protection, infrastructure development, all fighting for scraps. And this is what it looks like. In just the first 6 months of 2024-25, Pakistan paid $6.1 billion on external debt servicing alone. The IMF warned in 2025, with nearly half the budget allocated to debt servicing, Pakistan has entered a debt spiral. The fourth mechanism of elite capture is political capture. Pakistan's elite capture is unique. It is not controlled by a single group, but by multiple competing elite clusters. Local elites inherited power from colonial rulers and became primarily fixated on preserving their economic and political interests. This system was established very early in Pakistan's history and completed by the late 1990s. Once the political power is captured, the elites use it to shape laws in their favor. Tax exemptions are written into law for favored sectors. Land reforms are blocked by feudal politicians. Agriculture subsidies favor large landowners. Government contracts are awarded to elite-connected firms. Selective law enforcement benefits connected elites. Wealthy use political connections to avoid tax compliance. State institutions serve elite interests rather than public interest. The result, economic power converts into political power, which then again converts back into more economic power. It's a self-reinforcing cycle which never ends. According to the IMF, this cycle has become so entrenched that rapid reforms are essential to break it. But those reforms threaten the elite's interests, so they resist. A society cannot remain stable when growth benefits only those already at the top. The question is not whether this system can continue. The question is when it will break. Understanding this reality is the first step towards asking a deeper question. Who should an economy truly serve? Should it serve the 1% who have captured the system? Or should it serve 251 million Pakistanis who deserve opportunity, dignity, and a fair share of their nation's wealth.